How many more rights need to be gutted all over the country for people to understand the stakes and to pick a side?
I'm not picking the sides of what we have right now. Yes, one's obviously better than the other. The policies of the right, but also some of the policies on the left.
I'm not going to choose between these two candidates, okay? But it's like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Kamala. She's bipolar for real? Uh-oh. She's got the same, she's the exact same as me. Pals, I think you're really going to enjoy this video. If you do, please hit the like and subscribe button and comment button. It really helps out. All right, so Chappell Roan, what was the initial thing that she said? So this was the initial thing that she said. Chappell Roan, guys, she's like me from 2006, okay? I don't want to go too hard on her, all right? I don't want to go too hard on her because she's just doing kind of standard like 20s, both sides bad thing, you know? I feel like a lot of people do this in their 20s. Both sides are bad, you know? I feel like a lot of people do this. It is what it is.
Skills, learn about what they're voting for, learn about who they're voting for, and ask questions. And it's being completely taken out of context. Per usual, there is nuance to what I say in interviews. And
so this is her claiming that she's clarifying her position here.
I think it's important that people use critical thinking. I think it's important for me to question authority and question world leaders and question myself, question my algorithm, question if some person that tweeted something about someone else is even true. It's important to question because that's how I think we move forward. This is my third election in voting.
Okay, I mean, I don't have a big problem with anything she said so far, right?
And the world is changing so rapidly, and I want to be part of the generation that changes things for good because,
you know, every young person wants to feel like they're a part of that generation, and then they get older and the world breaks their heart, okay? That's the timeline. It'll break your heart too at some point, okay?
Because we need it. If you come to my shows.
I had so much faith in the younger generation before, like 10 years ago. I was like, the internet is going to change everything. Young people are so smart. They're so much more informed than older people, than the boomers. They're going to change the world. They're going to revolutionize everything. And then fast forward 10 years and it's like young people are like, oh my God, Osama bin Laden was based? Like, what? Did you read? It's like, he was actually kind of based? And it's like, God damn it, son of a bitch. You guys were Anakin, okay? You were the chosen ones. You were the chosen ones. And then you ended up even more propagandized than our boomer parents, spreading fake memes on Facebook, all right? You're worse than them.
If you read my full interviews, if you literally know anything about me and for what I stand for, you know that this is not lip service, this is not virtue signaling, that my actions have always paved the way for my project and the people who really know me. Actions speak louder than words, and actions speak louder than an endorsement. Here's the...
Just a whole lot of yapping and just not really saying much so far. I don't know what she's said so far. If I had to summarize what she's said so far, I wouldn't know what to say. We live in society. We live in a society. And in that society, there are ideas. And you want to challenge those ideas and use critical thinking. And then society is moving so fast. Everything's changing so fast. And I want the society to be better. And so society is there. And it's like, you know, just a whole lot of nothing, you know.
The full quote that...
Pick a side, okay? There's a lot on the line. There's so much on the line. How many more rights need to be gutted all over the country for people to understand the stakes and to pick a side, okay? None of this, you know, you can be critical of Democrats, that's fine, okay? But pick a side. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? There are clearly drawn lines in the sand at this point in time. On this side over here, you get something wildly different from this side over here. And not everything on this side over here is going to be awesome, okay? You're going to have road bumps, and you're going to have like moderate Democrats serving in super purple districts in like Texas or Florida or whatever. And they may not go far enough, you know, and that may frustrate you. I get that, right? But it's like, we're talking about very different circumstances. All right. Universes apart. Okay.
A lot of people are just not reading. I have so many issues with our government in every way, she says. There are so many things that I would want to change, so I don't feel pressured to endorse someone. There's problems on both sides, and I encourage people to use your critical thinking skills. Use your vote. Vote small. Vote for what's going on in your city. The change she wants to see in the U.S. is this.
Okay, that's fine. You know, I don't disagree. I don't disagree about like getting involved in your community. That's fine. But national politics are something that you have to contend with. National politics are extremely consequential. National politics is like the difference between people being denied coverage for having cancer and healthcare coverage being expanded to 50 million extra people. Okay. National politics is the difference between zero forgiveness of student loan debt and 1.5 billion, was it billion or trillion? $billion worth of or $150 billion of student debt being forgiven for 4 to 5 million Americans. You know, national politics is the difference between Roe v. Wade being the law of the land and now a situation where a third of all women in the country live in a state that have effectively banned abortion. And now people are dying. And now people are dying. Okay. That's the difference. All right. So yes, you know, pay attention to your community or whatever. If that's what I'm super focused on national politics or whatever, but you know, I still vote in every local election or whatever.
This election year, she says, instantly is trans rights. They cannot have cis people making decisions for trans people, period.
They cannot have cis people making decisions for trans people? Is that what they said? Well, they are. That's just the reality. To my knowledge, I don't know if we have any trans people serving in Congress. I mean, that's just the reality for now. That is the reality. And so you better be sure you're helping to elect people that are going to protect those rights. Which states with what party is in charge of these states that are passing hundreds of anti-trans bills all over the country? Is that blue governor signing those into law? Is that blue mayor signing that legislation into law? No, those are Republicans. You probably should vote Democrat. If you claim to care about trans issues, you necessarily have to vote for Democrats at the national level and at the local level and at the state level. The United States, like the Democratic Party in the United States, we're seeing left-wing movements all over the country and governments all over the country sort of walk back support for trans people. The Democratic Party is actually on the global stage doing a really good job of like holding the line, of actually offering substantive protections for trans people. Truly. I mean, like you can see the Labour Party in the UK has begun walking back support for trans stuff. You know, all things considered, the Democrats in the United States are doing a pretty good job of protecting trans people.
Trans people, period. So, hearing from my mouth, if you're still wondering, no, I'm not voting for Trump. And yes, I will always question those in power.
They're all brave. That's so brave. Wow, no one's doing that. Finally, someone is expressing their frustration with government in this country. You know, it's like no one does that. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, yay, government. I love the government. The government's awesome. And then we have these stunning and brave people like Chappell Roan coming forward and being upset about government and then posting about it on the internet. No one else is doing that. It's like, wow, you know, what an inspiration. I'm sorry. It's not enough to say that you're not voting for Donald Trump. It's not enough. It's not enough. If you're going to pipe up about politics, fine. That's fine. It's a democracy. We all can use our voice, and there's nothing wrong with celebrities voicing their opinion or whatever. But it's not enough to just say you're not voting for Donald Trump. If you say that, what you're communicating to me and to everybody else is you don't really understand the stakes. You don't really understand the dynamic. You don't really understand what people have to lose. It's not enough. Okay. How do you say Chappell Roan? Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan. Is that how you say it? Chappell Roan?
Chappell Roan.
Chappell Roan. That's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying, right?
I will always question those in power and those making decisions over other people. And I will stand up for what's right and what I believe in. And like, it's always at
the forefront of my project. But then she kept going. You just subscribed. Apparently she's getting a lot of pushback, and so she felt the need to like get in there, and so she posted another video.
I just woke up and to like people just skewing it even more.
But you didn't actually clarify anything. You posted this video claiming to like clarify on some other post that you made, and you didn't say anything. I gleaned no new information from the video that you posted. Chappell Roan.
Endorsing and voting are completely different.
Thank you for pointing that out. Wow, I had no idea. That's crazy. That's crazy. How insightful.
I don't agree with a lot of what is going on with, like, policies. Like, obviously.
Can you... Specifics would be nice. Can you get into specifics? Because, I mean, I agree. There's a lot of policies that I don't like. Which policies? And who are doing these policies? Okay.
Obviously, policies of the right, but also some of the policies on the left.
Oh man, she's just posting through it. She's just posting through it. Thank God. Okay, I feel like I'm being mean or whatever, but like, thank God I did not have like a big platform when I was 26. Actually, is that even true? How old was I in 2009? I was 26. I actually had a pretty huge platform. 25. Thank God I didn't have a huge platform when I was 25, because I probably would have said something very similar. But I don't know. I feel like, was I doing like both sides bad stuff back in the Respawn days? It's possible, but I'm pretty sure I didn't to this level. I could be wrong. But, you know, if I was 24, 23 or whatever, and I had a massive platform, I probably would have done the same thing. Like, you know what? The policies on the right, but you know what? It's like some of the policies on the left too, you know?
That's why I can't endorse. That's why I can't, like, put my entire name and my entire project behind one. Because there is no way.
Well, when it comes to the presidency, you get two choices. Not three, not four. It ain't going to be Cornel West. Not going to be whatever crazy libertarian nominee they put forward. Not going to be Jill Stein. It's going to be Donald Trump, or it's going to be Kamala Harris. Probably better to pick one. Probably better to pick one in that spot. You know, maybe you have more options at the local level, you know, maybe you do ranked choice voting. Maybe you live in Maine. Maybe you have more flexibility in terms of like what candidate you can support. Maybe you can throw your support behind a green candidate somewhere, and it, you know, maybe it'll work out or whatever. But like on the national level, in national politics, when we're talking about national races, a seat in the House of Representatives, a seat in the Senate, the presidency, you typically get either the Democrat or the Republican or the independent that caucuses with the Democrats or Republicans. And those are your choices. And one of those choices is going to be way better than the other one, okay?
I can stand behind some of the left's completely transphobic and completely genocidal views.
The left's transphobic views? What's she talking about? I mean, it's possible you can find some moderate Democrats that, you know, probably are not super progressive when it comes to trans. I'm sure you can find some of those people. But like, I don't know if we ever had a president talk about trans rights before Biden. Biden was getting up there and talking about rights of trans people being stripped all over the country. Biden was sending Department of Justice lawyers into red states and districts all over the country that were trying to roll back protections for trans people. And we were sending DOJ lawyers to go and fight those bills. He expanded Title IX protections to trans people. He took substantive action when it came to trans people. I don't think she misspoke. Did she misspeak?
No way. I can stand behind some of the left's completely transphobic and completely genocidal views.
She said the G word.
So yeah, there are huge problems on both. You know what is right and wrong, and so do I. Trump for real, but some of the that has gone down in the Democratic Party that has failed people like me and you.
I want to know, man. Bro, how has the Democratic Party failed Chappell Roan? I just want to know. Can she get into that? Can I get into specifics here? Can I get any specifics here? Please, just give me something. Just one thing, bro.
And more so, Palestine. And more so, every marginalized community in the world.
If you give a about Palestine, there is one very clear choice, okay? There's one. There was only one modern president. There was only one president in modern history. One. Just one in modern history that didn't push for a two-state solution, that didn't push for Palestinian statehood. One. One in decades of foreign policy. One. His name was Donald Trump. He's the only one. He's the only president in modern history that decided, you know what, the two-state solution, Palestine, statehood, not really my problem. Not really my problem. Tell you what, instead of a state, why don't we give you $400 billion? You don't get a state, but you'll get $400 billion. What do you guys think? That's what he did.
So no, I'm not gonna settle for what the options that are in front of me. And you're not gonna make me feel bad for that.
Well, you're clearly triggered, which means we win, right?
So yeah, I'm voting for Kamala.
Okay, so you are making a choice. What do you mean? I'm not going to choose between these two candidates, okay? Because you know what? The left too, right? It's like the Democrats, the transphobic, okay? I'm not gonna pick between these two, okay? And you're not gonna make me feel bad. But it's like, yeah, I'm gonna vote for Kamala. Okay, why didn't you just say that and spare us all the rest of the Jesus Christ, you could have saved so much time. I'm a little bit unhappy with the Democratic Party because I feel like they could be doing better, but I'm going to vote for Kamala. Boom! It's a 5-second video. We can cut all the rest of this stuff. All right? She's bipolar for real? Uh-oh. Wait, I can't be attacking my own. She's got the same, she's the exact same as me. She's got bipolar too. I take back everything. We must protect her. Just get her some Seroquel. Just chuck a Seroquel in her mouth. She'll be fine. I can give you some bipolar posts. Bipolar posts. Okay, hold on. Similar vibes here, okay? This is bipolar as Hutch. Not really concerned with like shaving or, you know, eating breakfast or lunch, you know. Just dabbing, just doing massive dabs every morning and then drinking coffee that was spiked with marijuana laced honey. Just stoned out of my mind 24/7. This is me bipolar posting right here. Just unmedicated bipolar, just in my okay, living the life bipolar Hutch was living. Dude, I had a really cool, it was really exciting, like getting married and just moving to Santa Cruz on a whim was the first 2 months were like incredible. It was like magic. It was like, oh my God, I found the life. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be this happy forever. Followed by like a year and a half of the most crippling depression you could possibly imagine. It just got so bad. So if she's bipolar, I kind of feel bad. I take it all back. I want to go easier on her. I want to protect her. And like, listen, okay, when you're famous, speaking as someone who is also famous, okay, I'm very qualified to speak on fame. Okay. But when you have some notoriety, okay, it's really difficult to, like you're kind of enabled by like your comments, you know what I mean? When I announced that I was getting eloped in Vegas, like 95% of the comments were like, yeah, bro, he's actually living the dream, man. He found his high school sweetie and man, I wish I could do that. Good for you. That's awesome. You're doing such a, and like 5% of the comments were like, this is not healthy. I don't think you're okay. And I would read those comments. I'd be like, fuck that guy, block him, you know? You just block out the people that are actually trying to hold you accountable. I feel bad. She's still figuring it out. She's one of the largest artists in the world right now, and she's bipolar, and she struggled with like bipolar depression. Like, look, man, she's figured it out. Listen, she'll probably grow up. She'll probably be just like me, right? Streaming politics to a niche audience, medicated. She'll probably be just like me, right?
We love you. You're very special.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you. All right, I'm going to be nicer, okay?
But I'm not settling for what has been offered.
Okay, I'm pissed again. I'm upset immediately again. But ma'am, listen, friendly with respect. You just said you were voting for Kamala. Just own it, right? Just own it. It's the right decision. It's the right decision. It is the right decision. If you want to be like a pixie kind of socialist girl or whatever, that's cool. That's fine. I feel like a lot of us go through that kind of phase, right? But just, you know, your instincts are correct. Supporting Kamala is the right move. It's really the only move that makes any sense. If you're even vaguely on the left, just own it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to be ashamed of it. She seems like ashamed of it. You know what I mean?
That's questionable. It's questionable that our actions of our government, the actions of the internet, the actions of you and me. If this
okay, we're getting pretty abstract. Let's keep our focus on one thing. Okay.
This is what you are not understanding. You know what? Endorsing someone, if someone is publicly endorsing a political figure, that doesn't even mean that they're going to vote for them.
Yeah, it kind of does mean that.
Because as I said in my other video, actions speak louder than words.
I'm not really sure what she means when she says that.
And I'm not gonna let this narrative of like me not playing both sides. No. This is not me playing both sides. This is me questioning both sides because this is what we have in front of us. So if you look at my statement and you're still like, she's just playing both sides, like she doesn't wanna, no, you're not getting it. I'm critiquing both sides because they're both so up. Voting is all we have right now in the system.
That's not true.
And so I encourage it.
You can get involved on so many levels, you know, like it doesn't, like voting needs to be the floor. If you're going to do one thing, okay, if you want to get engaged politically or whatever, if you're only going to do one thing, it should be voting. That's the absolute floor. If you don't have time for anything else, you don't have energy for anything else, you don't feel the desire to be involved on any other level, if you're only going to do one thing, it should be voting. Okay. But there's a lot you can get involved in so many ways, right?
Yet again, vote for who in your mind is the best option for what we have right now. Because it's all we can do. And I hope this makes it clear that no, I'm not picking the sides of what we have right now. Yes, one's obviously better than the other.
I gotta stop laughing. It's not nice. It's not nice. Okay, she's figuring it out, guys. She's 26 years old. She'll get there. You gotta give her time, okay? She'll get there. She'll get there, okay? She's 26, not 16. It's fine to laugh at her. I mean, it's funny, but you know, 26, bro. Listen, when I was 26, I gotta tell you, I was not like a grown up when I was 26 years old. Okay, it took me a long time to grow up. I definitely feel like an adult now, for sure. I feel like an adult. I didn't feel like I was an adult for most of my 30s. I definitely didn't feel like an adult when I was in my 20s. You know, I thought and did a lot of dumb, stupid shit, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to actively practice like empathy, you know? All right, what does Hasan have to say about Chappell Roan?
Everybody is yelling at Chappell Roan. And I think the reason why they're yelling at Chappell Roan is because she was like, yeah, I don't really know if I want to vote for Kamala Harris or endorse her, honestly. There's a lot of problems on either side. And people immediately took that to be like, oh, she must mean she really likes Donald Trump. Or how dare you say that there's a lot of problems?
It's not that if you take the position that she did, or say the things that she did, I don't jump to the conclusion that she's a big fan of Trump. The conclusion that I jump to is that she doesn't fully appreciate the threat that Trump brings. She doesn't fully get it. She doesn't fully understand the millions of people that will be negatively impacted because of Trump. I've said this before. I will say it again. If Roe v. Wade ending was not enough to get young people to understand what the stakes are, then I don't know what it would take. I really don't know what domino would have to fall for them to appreciate it. Like, I really don't know. I feel like if Donald Trump wins and then there's some kind of global conflict that breaks out and he literally does internment camps for East Asian people or whatever, I feel like even in that spot, you'd have young people being like, I mean, Democrats would probably do the same thing. What do Democrats do to stop the camps? I think we're at that level of discourse, you know? I really don't know if there's something that could happen that could sufficiently rattle people, young people, mostly young people specifically, that could sufficiently rattle them to the extent that they would be like, oh, okay, I kind of see now. It's actually way worse over here. I don't know what would have to happen. That's an open question. I really don't know. What is young to you now? I mean, I would say like, let's say like under 35. We'll say under 35. I will put them in the young voter basket. You know, there's a lot of people in that age bracket that have really strong opinions about things and they don't have a lot of life experience to inform their beliefs. And I would put myself in the same, I was not immune to that. Okay, I'm putting myself in the exact same bucket.
You must clearly be trying to farm like a Michael Jordan style, in a Michael Jordan style way. You must clearly be trying to farm like the conservative voters to like buy your product. It's like, No, I think it's probably because of what she has said time and time again about American imperialism, specifically Palestine. But I don't know. I just genuinely don't know, but I'm pretty sure that
the American imperialist urge to give Palestinians their own state.
That's why she's saying that. The issue,
I'm glad someone's speaking out about American imperialist urge to give Palestinians their own state.
For me at least, is like, I don't know why she just doesn't openly state it and be like, listen, I think that if the Democratic Party wants my vote, they should seek they should seek out my vote. And some of the things that I care about include not murdering babies in Gaza. And I think that that is probably a good thing to stop, even if you don't care about the election. She should say why for sure. She's getting flat from both sides because of it. It don't matter. Even if she said it's because of Palestine, people would be hella mad at her anyway, because people are annoying. It's okay for people to have their own personal opinions on stuff like this. You know, you can disagree with them if you want, but it is certainly okay. You know, I find it really odd that people are just like, no, you don't understand. You will vote for the Democratic Party and you will like it and you will be excited at the prospect. And
who is saying that, bro? Who is saying? I'm not saying like get in there and vote for Kamala with a smile on your face and be grateful. I'm not telling her like you need to get in the ballot booth and vote for Kamala and dance while you're doing it and smile and laugh and sing. I don't think anybody reasonable is saying that. I'm just saying like, dog, for the love of God, what else needs to happen for you to understand what's at stake here? Please, I'm just asking you to honestly evaluate the state of things, to honestly evaluate the potential trajectory if Donald Trump wins and he appoints 2 more justices to the Supreme Court. And then we got to deal with we got to deal with that for 50 years, or what's going to happen if we go this way. And just like look at those 2 outcomes. And even if this outcome over here is like, man, I really wish we could do better on this, and this, including Palestine, just honestly appraise the situation for Christ's sake and act accordingly.
You actually, and also you're no longer actually queer. Genuinely asking, is Chappell Roan actually queer, or is she just a culture vulture? She moves very fake. Yeah, no. They'll also, I don't know why they haven't hit the she's white, she's a white woman, that's why she's doing this line, you know what I mean?
But I feel like that's something like Hasan would say. Whatever.
I mean, like I'm surprised that hasn't come out yet.
Like what political parties all over the world, what political parties and governments all over the world are doing a better job when it comes to LGBTQ plus stuff than the Democratic Party? It's a short list. Okay, you know, there's progress to be made. There's progress to be made for sure. We got to change hearts and minds first. I mean, there is a groundswell of anti-trans sentiment that is pervasive in the electorate right now, and you have to contend with that. You know, it's just a fact that, you know, a really decent percentage of the population has been convinced by like libs of TikTok stuff, and they're super wary of trans people, and that sucks. But honestly, the Democratic Party right now are like, they're like holding the line. Like they're doing a pretty decent job.
No, chatter, I also saw this tweet. It was something like, you normalize the be supportive but hate on Democrats always mentality, which is just insanity. Yeah, dude, I am gonna hate on the Democratic Party unless they do. Okay, her best friend follows you.
It doesn't matter when they do he doesn't care. Like Biden did so much. Bro, put yourself in the shoes of a Democrat in like 2005. What if I told you, a bleeding heart liberal Democrat in 2005, guess what? In 15 years, we're going to elect a president who is going to pass the largest investment in climate ever. We're going to give you a president that is going to codify gay marriage. We're going to give you a president that's going to do a $1 trillion plus infrastructure bill. We're going to give you a president that walks on a picket line with union members and is objectively the most pro-union president in modern history, right? And we're going to give you a president that's going to leave the war in Afghanistan. If you told me that in 2005, I would have everywhere. I would have bro. I would have been like, oh my God, the largest domestic stimulus package in American history. He did all that shit, dude. Forgave student loan debt for millions of people. And people like you and Hasan are like, oh, when are they going to do something.
There is no reason to have a democratic process or uphold even a theory of democracy if you are not going to extract concessions from your elected representatives.
This happens all the time. Happens all the time. If we didn't get concessions from the Democratic Party, then we would still have 4 dozen pro-life Democrats serving in the House. All right.
Please,
if we didn't get concessions from the Biden administration, he wouldn't have used executive orders to forgive student loan debt. He wouldn't have pursued objectively the most progressive policy agenda of my lifetime by far. Okay. Biden went well to the left of what we all expected him to do in 2020.
You do not extract concessions from your elected representatives, then you are not doing your part in the democratic process.
You're not going to extract concessions especially in the Trump era. Okay. You're not going to extract concessions by saying, you know what? I'm not going to vote for you. I understand that Trump is really bad. I understand that Trump is worse. I understand that Trump is 10 times worse, but I don't think I'm going to vote for you. The modern Democrat with the threat of Trump, they're going to be like, all right, deuces. Hey, Haley voters, what's up? Let's talk. They're going to do that because it's a serious threat and they're going to do whatever they need to do to win. And they should. They should do that. That would be the smart move. That is the smart move.
Democracy is not just like a team sport, okay? The entire point of democracy is so that you vote for an elected representative that actually does right by you. When people...
Not really. You choose the best option that you have. You choose the best option that you have. If you spend your life waiting for representatives in Congress, people that represent you in government and local government and state government, presidents, if you sit around waiting for a nominee who's going to just perfectly align with every single one of your agenda items, and you don't support anyone that doesn't perfectly line up with you, you're just never going to vote. You're just never going to vote because no one's ever going to perfectly match everything.
People advocate for this inherently undemocratic position. This inherently undemocratic position that dictates that no, you must not ask anything of your holy overlords.
No one's saying this.
In the Democratic
No one is saying this. No one is saying this. No one is saying don't ask anything from Pelosi or Jeffries or Schumer or Kamala or Biden. No one is saying this. No one is saying this. Literally no one.